Welcome to The Explainer. We're always told to trust these big economic models that predict booms and busts, but what if one of the most common tools economists use is, well, fundamentally flawed? What if it's like a funhouse mirror? Today, we're diving into a paper that gives us a really simple way to check if we're seeing reality or just a dangerous distortion. So let's start with a huge question like this one. If you're a policymaker, getting the answer right could affect the entire economy. So where do economists even start trying to figure this out? Well, they turn to these really sophisticated models. They're supposed to be like a crystal ball for the economy. But as this paper shows so well, sometimes that crystal ball is actually more like a funhouse mirror, reflecting a warped image that could lead you to make some truly terrible decisions. Let's dig into how that can happen. To really get a handle on the ripple effects of any economic event, whether it's a new tech or a change in interest rates, economists usually reach for one main tool in their toolkit. It's called a vector autoregression, or VAR for short. The easiest way to think about it is like a machine that's built to map out how a single shock to the system, like that new technology we mentioned, ends up affecting everything else down the line, from jobs to prices. But here's the real kicker, and the problem this paper tackles head-on. Sometimes that machine has a huge flaw. It can tell you a story that's the complete opposite of what's actually happening. The authors point to this specific glitch called an invertibility issue. Now that sounds super technical, right? But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It just means the VAR can act like that funhouse mirror we talked about. It takes in real, accurate information and spits back a warped, totally distorted picture of the economy. And that is a massive problem. I mean, if you're a central banker trying to make billion-dollar decisions, you absolutely need to know if your main tool is lying to you. And for a long, long time, there was just no easy way to tell. So, how do you know if you're looking at reality or just a wacky reflection? Well, this paper offers up a brilliant and really straightforward solution. They call it the ABCs and Ds check. It's basically a simple test that looks under the hood of the model at these different matrices that kind of act as its programming. By checking these fundamental building blocks, the test tells you if the model can even correctly identify the real shocks from the data it's seeing. It's a way to know right away if you're looking at the truth or the funhouse mirror. To really see how powerful this is, the paper uses a classic economic example to show the check in action. Let's walk through it. It's pretty eye-opening. All right, the scenario is simple. Let's say you get a sudden one-time bonus at work. Economic theory is pretty clear about what you do with it. So we're going to look at what really happens, and then we'll look at what that distorted funhouse mirror VAR shows instead. Okay, now look at this. The difference here is just wild. On the left, that's reality, the true economic response. On the right, that's the funhouse mirror, the completely wrong answer you get from a flawed VAR. Let's break this down for a second. In the real world, if you get a surprise chunk of money, you'll probably spend a little bit more, and that boost to your spending sticks around. It's permanent. Makes sense, right? But the distorted model on the right tells the exact opposite story. It says a good thing, a positive shock to your income, causes your spending to fall forever. It gets the story 100% backward. And just think about the consequences of that for a minute. Imagine a government trying to design a policy based on the idea that giving people more money makes them spend less. It would be an absolute recipe for disaster, all because the tool they were using was broken. So, this brings us to the really big takeaway, why this simple check is so critical, way beyond just academic circles. Look, the stakes here are just enormous. This isn't just about math on a whiteboard. It's about making sure the models that guide huge decisions on things like taxes, interest rates, and stimulus packages are built on a solid, truthful foundation. This simple check helps economists avoid really costly mistakes and actually see the true cause and effect in the economy. At the end of the day, this paper gives us a powerful new tool to tell the difference between economic fact and, well, economic fiction. And it leaves us with a really important question to think about. How many of the big economic ideas we all rely on are based on a clear view of reality, and how many might just be a distorted reflection from a funhouse mirror?